Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. I hope you are well and I hope you're having a beautiful day today. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It is currently December 21st, 2022 of the recording of this podcast, guys. I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys and adding value to you via this podcast. We're going through how to let go, how to heal, and how to forgive the people that have hurt you. And we've all got that, whether it's your parents, whether it's your friends, whether old friends, whether it's old relationships, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, whether it's your teachers, whether it's your co-workers, whether it's your old bosses, just people that have hurt you. So how to forgive, how to move on, how to let go. I'm going to show you why it's so important to do it, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So I like to be practical. I'm going to give you some very practical tips. So please stick around to the end to make sure you guys get all the value from this podcast. If you haven't already, guys, please like, subscribe, share this podcast around. If you get value from this, guys, share it on your Instagram story. Give me a tag, and I'd love to connect with you and add some value to you. So let's rock and roll, guys. So firstly, what I want to start with is the most cliche, overused quote in self-development in the self-development world. Life is happening for you, not to you. Everything is on the way, not in the way. Very cliche. It's just like everything has benefits to it. Everything is serving you. It's happening for a reason. And it's very, very true. But the challenge that most people have is they'll see this positive quote online, like life is happening for you, not to you. But then it's applying it to your own life, which is generally the challenge. Like, oh, well, what do you mean? My parents abandoned me. My parents abused me. My ex-partner left me. They cheated on me. They hurt me. They assaulted me. Whatever it may be. So you're saying all this, it's happening for you, not to you, but what the fuck do you mean? I've been through X, Y, Z. How is this happening for me? And you're holding on to it, you're judging them, etc. So I'm going to show you some live examples of how you can start to forgive, let go, and move on. What I'm going to start with is the true perception of life. The only true perception that we have in life is gratitude and love. What do I mean by that? When you were a young little boy, little girl, young child, when you felt safe to express yourself, when you're in a safe environment, you weren't in fight or flight, sympathetic nervous system wasn't activated, and you were able to be in a safe social engagement mode, and you were safe to explore and to enjoy life, did you care about other people's opinions? Were you judging people? Were you holding on to things? Were you, wounded from people? You weren't. You were loving, curious, enthusiastic, and grateful. Like, think of those hopefully everyone's seen a newborn baby. You've been one before. So you've held one or been in the presence of one. They're not judging. They're not holding on to shit. They're love. They're grateful. They're experiencing life. Besides when they go into the bathroom or when they want food. That's survival. That's fight or flight, right? So that's all it is. And what I mean by that is, so say you go through something and you can't say that you're grateful for it, or you can't say that you love that it's happened and you love this person for what's happened, then there's something that you're not seeing in that perception. So for example, you go through something that's hurt you, it's given you strength. You've gone through some failures, it's given you lessons and skills. Everything that has happened to you has happened for you. And it's starting to just go into the practical implementation of that quote, because I see coaches and motivational people online that share these quotes, which is awesome. I'm a big fan of it. I post quotes all the time, but it's actually fucking applying it, which most people don't really get the click in there. And I can use tons of examples. I've got a book next to me. I share this on most of my live videos these days, is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. It's an incredible book. I highly recommend reading it. It's a small book. You'll get through it literally in a couple hours. And it's about Viktor Frankl. He goes through a concentration camp in World War II. His brother, father, mother, and sister all killed in a concentration camp, went through the concentration camps for, I think, 2 to 3 years. He went through the full experience. He shares some really graphic experiences in there. One piece of bread to eat for 3 days. If someone drops dead next to you, you keep walking. You don't worry about it. You just got to keep moving forward. Arguably the most horrific, or one of the most horrific experiences in human history. He comes out the other side. He survives. He's a rare survivor and writes that book about it. He comes out with inspiration. He comes out with meaning. He comes out with a purpose to give back and to help people. That book has helped tens of millions of people. And how? How can he go through what he went through, which is more than 99.99999% of people have been through, and have gratitude, have meaning, have purpose, have inspiration to give back to the world? And here's just one example. Look at Oprah Winfrey. If you haven't heard her story, most people know who Oprah is, but if you haven't heard her story, sexually assaulted half a dozen times. Her parents weren't there for her. She went through foster care. She was sexually assaulted half a dozen times before the age of 14. Fell pregnant through one of those assaults, gave birth to a stillborn child at the age of 14, a baby giving birth to a fucking dead baby. And look who she's become. She was also fired from her jobs when she grew up because of the color of her skin and the way that she looked. She went through more than most people. Did that stop her? Did that weigh her down? Or did that drive her and inspire her, give her strength to give back to as many fucking people as she humanly can? And what's the difference? What's the difference between someone who's holding on to someone who's done something wrong, and wrong in quotations, someone that's hurt you, someone that's done something wrong by you, and someone like an Oprah Winfrey, someone like a Viktor Frankl, someone like a Tony Robbins? He had four or five different fathers growing up. His mother used to beat his head against the wall until he'd bleed. She used to pour liquid soap down his throat till he'd spew because she thought he was lying when he wasn't. He left his house when he was 17 years old. No money in his pocket, only the clothes on his back. He worked. He studied during the day. He worked overnight as a janitor. It's like he's now given back to hundreds of millions of people. And the stories about people like this go on and on and on and on and on. How do they do that? It's because they find the blessings within the chaos. They find the growth within the pain. They find the meaning, and they assign what things mean to them. Hence the book, Man's Search for Meaning. Something that is uniquely special to us human beings is we have a prefrontal cortex that allows us to assign meaning to everything and anything that we go through. And if you currently are giving a negative meaning or judgment towards something you've been through, whether it's a person that hurt you, someone abandoned you, someone did wrong by you, that judgment is what gives it power, and it's the judgment that is weighing you down. You might have heard this before. Judgment or resentment, it's one and the same, is like drinking poison and hoping your enemy dies. That's what it is. Picture this. Funny example, I got this from Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza, great guy. Check out his stuff. Really awesome content. And he uses this example. It's really funny. Picture the person that you're holding on to about something. They hurt you. They wronged you. You haven't moved on from it. You're judging them. You're holding on to something about them. Picture that person right now. Now picture, I strap them to a rocket and I shoot them into the sun. They're gone out of existence. How long are you going to hold on to that shit for? 10 seconds, 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 days, 10 months, 10 years, 50 years? The difference between 10 seconds and 20 years, the only difference is your decision. And you choosing, and this is where accountability comes into it, you choosing to continue to hold on to whatever you're holding on to, whoever did you wrong, whoever hurt you, whoever, whatever, you consciously choosing to hold on to this is what's weighing you down. Something to think about. Whatever the event is, whatever the person did that you see is wrong, and the judgment that you have upon that event. If you're not watching the video right now, I would recommend, because I'm just giving you a couple of visuals. So there's an event that happens. That's my fist right now. Something happens. They abandon you, they cheat you, they hurt you, they did something wrong by you. And the judgment that you have upon it, you're judging that it was wrong. The event and the judgment itself is the same energy. And you get in life what you are. You attract what you put out. So if you're judging something, you attract more of it into your life. Have you ever noticed that the things you complain about, you keep attracting? Have you noticed that the things you're judging people for, you attract more into your life? I've got personal examples about this. I won't use people's names. I'll use the word Sarah. There's someone that I know very, very well. And Sarah has a lot of judgment over her dad. He hurt her. He abused her. He wasn't there for her. And she has a lot of judgment towards masculine energy. So the toxic masculine energy. And ironically, and maybe this is coincidental, maybe there's truth in what I'm saying, Sarah has never been able to hold down a meaningful relationship with any masculine energy or men in her life. Isn't that interesting? She judges the biggest source of masculine energy in her life, her dad. She judges that. She hates him. She's shut off from him. She's cut him off. She can't stand the thought of him because it was wrong and she's holding on to shit. And she happens to be fucking single at the age of 35, give or take, and cannot hold down any form of fucking relationship. Isn't that interesting? The event and the judgment itself is the same energy, and you attract what you put out. Have you noticed happy people get more things to be happy about? Angry people get more things to be angry about? So that is something that I really want you to sink in. The more you hold on to it, the more you attract more of it. And something that I love sharing, because it's something that I've had to listen to myself, to be honest, is that you keep attracting people to trigger you until you heal through the wound. Because judgment is a wound. You're judging someone for something wrong, something that shouldn't have happened, it hurt, etc. Until you heal through it, you continue to attract people to trigger it. There's a great quote by Peter Crone. He uses a very similar quote. Life will present you with people and circumstances to reveal where you are not free. It's one and the same of what I'm saying. It's you're attracting people to trigger those parts of you that you haven't healed from, you haven't let go of, and you haven't forgiven. So I just wanted to give you the big context of why it's important. This is why it's important to let go, to forgive, to move on in life. But how do you do it? That's the question, right? How do you do it? It's going back to the original quote that I used. Life is happening for you, not to you. Life is on the way, not in the way. There's more steps I do, like we do your values, we do your purpose, we do your mission, we do your vision, and then I go through my clients on my weekend events. This is the process we go through. It's how to actually process it. Trauma is unprocessed memories. Really awesome quote that I got from the book, You're Not Broken by Dr. Sarah Woodhouse. Really awesome book. Go read that book. Really recommend it. Then, what you want to do is start to process it. So trauma is unprocessed memories. We want to start to process it. So what specifically, this is the process for you. Here's a free coaching session for you guys right now. Think of the person that you judge the most. Who are you holding? What are you holding on to? Or someone that you're holding on to something. They did something wrong by you. They fucked you over. They hurt you. They abandoned you. They did something, what you view as of right now, that was wrong. Picture that person. Now, what we do as human beings is we like to paint things certain colors, and we generalize a lot. So we're good at generalizing and painting things certain colors. What do I mean by that? If you were to meet me for the first time, we've never met before, and you meet me, and in the first time we meet, I'm really rude to you. I say something that's hurtful. I say something that you take offensively, and you just don't like it. You've now painted me as a rude person. But everyone's rude. Everyone lies. Everyone's truthful. Everyone's nice. Everyone's mean. You might have just caught me in the one moment of that day that I was rude. But because that's your experience of me now, you paint me that color. It's like when you say someone hurt you and they are just now a hurtful person. Everything they've done is hurtful. Well, it's not everything. It's just a couple of things or the same thing over and over again that they've done that has hurt you, okay? So we want to be specific. What specifically has this person done or not done that has hurt you, that you're holding on to? Did they abandon you? Did they physically assault you? Did they cheat on you? Did they make you feel unloved, unseen, invalidated? Did they, I'm just trying to think of common ones that I work with. I work with all sort of walks of life, but be specific. What specifically is it that they did? I'll use abandonment because that seems to pop up a lot with my clients that I work with. So let's use abandonment. So say your parents, friends, family, whatever. They abandon you. I'll use an example. I was working with a client. I'll just keep using the name Sarah. Her name's not Sarah, but let's use Sarah. So Sarah was a client of mine, one-on-one client. We worked really well together for about 5 or 6 months. And incredible journey, incredible results. And she kept getting triggered in her relationship. So she was in a new relationship. She had kids with someone else, and she was in a new relationship, and she kept getting triggered. Remember what I said before? You continue to attract people to trigger you to help you heal through the wounds. So this person kept triggering her. So I said, well, Sarah, what is it specifically that's triggering you? It's not the color of his hair. It's not the color of his shoes. That's not what he says, or maybe it is. It's a couple of things that he is or isn't doing that's triggering you. And she got in there and she got in her own mind, closed her eyes, really thought hard about it. And the penny dropped. She's like, I keep feeling abandoned by him. He wasn't there for me when I needed him. I felt lost. I felt alone. I felt abandoned. I said, okay, thank you for sharing. I said, okay, when in your life did you go through high levels of abandonment that really hurt? And it closed her eyes. Then her eyes shot open. She started to tear up a little bit, got a bit emotional. She's like, fuck, it was my parents. I said, thank you. Thank you for sharing. So I said, tell me, have you got a moment when you experienced and perceived abandonment? She's like, yeah, I've got it. And she's like, getting emotional. Is it like when she was at school, they weren't there for her, etc. I said, Sarah, can you please tell me, what are some of the strengths and traits that you love about yourself today? And she was saying, I'm very independent. I'm very successful. I'm very strong. I'm a single mom. I run my own business. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, great. I said, where do you think that independence and strength has come from? And she kind of hit her hard. It took like the dots started to align. The penny started to drop. Because what happens when the baby bird, is never kicked out of the nest, and never spreads its wings and never learns how to fly, becomes weak. You may or may not know people like this who are given everything in life. They're given all the money, all the resources, the fucking brand new car for their first. They've given everything. Those people, more often than not all the time, more often than not, become very emotionally weak people. When you know people that have been through the fucking ringer, that have been through fucking emotional, psychological pain, if healed through properly, become some of the most fucking inspiring people in human history. I mentioned a couple of them at the start of this podcast. Viktor Frankl, Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins. The list goes on. So it was the abandonment that actually gave Sarah the strength that she's actually proud to have today. But until she saw how the abandonment had actually served her, she was judging her parents for it, and she was attracting more of it into her life. I hope the pennies are starting to drop for you guys. So until you heal through it, let go, forgive, give love, give gratitude to the very person that you're fucking judging, you're going to continue to attract more of it into your life. And this is kind of the mic drop moment that I hope you guys are starting to click with. So to do this for yourself, I was kind of given an example before. Think of who is it that you are holding on to, you haven't forgiven, you haven't moved on from, you're judging, you're holding on to something. Think of that person. Think specifically, what did they do or not do that's hurt you? Might be abandonment, hurt, abuse, feeling unseen, feeling unloved, cheating on them, etc. And this can be challenging. This can take hours and hours to do, but find how it served you. What's the benefits of it? What's the benefits of being unseen? Does it teach you how to not require other people's validation to love yourself? Does it teach you and give you the opportunity to love yourself within and not require other people's love to feel love? What's the benefits of being abused? Has it teaching you mental and emotional strength? Has it given you purpose and passion to help people who are going through the same thing? Because in life, we generally become the people that we needed when we're at our lowest. Look at Viktor Frankl, look at Oprah Winfrey, look at Tony Robbins. And just Google it. Google the thing that you're holding on to about someone. They might have cheated on you, hurt you, whatever. Google whatever that was, and Google successful people who have been through, and insert that very thing. There will be fucking thousands. Thousands and thousands of thousands. Because life is happening for you, not to you. I just want to sort of give you a bit more practical way to implement that. Find how it's serving you. So good questions to ask. What skills does this teach me? What knowledge does this teach me? How has this made me stronger? How is this going to make me a better parent? How is this making me a better business owner? How is this helping me fulfill my purpose in life? How is this helping me fulfill my vision in life? How is this helping me fulfill my mission in life? What is it that I'm not seeing in this event that I haven't seen until now. And you just start asking all these questions until your perception hits a point of love and gratitude. When you realize, fuck, for me, my social anxiety that I experienced when I was younger that was very fucking painful for me has actually gifted me with a sixth sense of being very acutely aware of when people feel uncomfortable, because I felt so uncomfortable. If you ever meet me in person, for anyone that doesn't know me in person, comment below and let me know if this is true or not. A big strength of mine is helping people feel safe to be vulnerable and to open up. And just think about the work that I do, helping people with traumas, purpose, mission, vision, healing, letting go. Do you think that's a fucking good trait to have? Imagine going to a therapist or a coach to fucking heal and they don't make you feel safe to open up. Do you think that's going to fucking work? Hell no. So the social anxiety, the social discomfort that I experienced, even though it was painful for me in the moment, it actually gifted me with one of my greatest gifts that I have to this day that I'm proud and grateful to have to this day. So it's seeing how everything's happening for you. Guys, I hope you got value from this. I got a little bit passionate because this is something I'm very passionate about. If you got value, please like the video if you haven't already. It does really help out. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Share this with a friend. Send this to a friend. Join the community group. Book in for a free strategy call. I've got all the links down below. And I hope you guys have got value from this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys on the next podcast. Much love. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas as well. I love you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.